Welcome back to The Explainer. If you're the kind of person who likes to cut through the noise and get straight to the heart of what is actually happening in the WordPress ecosystem, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down the latest curated insights from WP More newsletter, issue 46. We've got a really fascinating mix of topics today, ranging from the highly technical stuff to the deeply human stories that actually build our community. Okay, let's dive into this and see what's shaping the platform right now. Here is what we're covering today. 1. WordPress core moves forward. 2. AI upgrades in WP 7.1. 3. The plugin spam hall of shame. And 4. Remembering Om Malik. Section 1. WordPress core moves forward. So we are sitting at a really interesting crossroads right now as we close the book on one major release and immediately pivot to another. WordPress 7.0, codenamed Armstrong, is officially wrapped up. But the core team isn't just rushing blindly into 7.1 development. They're actively looking back, and they want your input. The retrospective survey is currently open, and it covers the whole shebang, from process to communication during the 7.0 cycle. Contributors are treating this feedback as absolutely crucial groundwork to tighten up the next release. And here's the thing you need to know. You don't need to be a developer who touched a line of code to weigh in. If you track the release, if you tested a beta, or even if you literally just read the changelogs, your take matters. You've got until July 20th, 2026 to submit your feedback before that conversation closes for good. Section 2, AI upgrades in WP 7.1. Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is as we look past that July 20th deadline and into the future of 7.1, things get incredibly high-tech. The core AI team is being very deliberate right now with the AI client, which is the framework that actually powers AI features across the entire plugin ecosystem. They're bringing two major upgrades to 7.1, and the first one is generation streaming. Look, we've all been there, right? You submit a prompt, and then you just stare at a spinning wheel for minutes, wondering if the server completely crashed. The new way fixes this by having the AI's response literally type out in real time. It's so much more dynamic. However, it is worth noting that full WordPress support for this is still carefully being worked on. The team is having to engineer some clever workarounds because, quite frankly, most standard servers just time out long before a multi-minute AI request can even finish. Okay, so the second massive upgrade coming to the AI client involves embeddings. Think of an embedding like a numerical fingerprint for text. It's a way for software to understand the context and the meaning of words, not just the exact letters, so it can effortlessly match a search for "how do I reset my password" to a page titled "account recovery steps," even though those two phrases share absolutely zero words in common. Pretty cool, right? And what makes this possible right now is that recent versions of MySQL and MariaDB actually support storing these natively. In fact, an early vector search experiment using this exact technology is already running inside the AI plugin. Section 3. Plugin Spam Hall of Shame. So the core AI updates are very careful, very deliberate, and highly structured. Let's transition away from that pristine core environment to the absolute chaotic reality of your user dashboard. If you've ever opened up your WordPress backend and been immediately assaulted by a giant banner begging for a 5-star review, an upsell you just can't close, or a license snag that follows you around everywhere, well, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's now a public scoreboard tracking it. A new database project is actively cataloging WordPress admin notice spam, plugin by plugin, and they aren't just calling them out vaguely, they are pinning each and every offending notice to the exact line of code that fires it. If you've ever felt like this dashboard clutter was getting completely out of hand, this data absolutely validates your frustration. They've cataloged thousands of notices across thousands of plugins, and the numbers are brutal. Roughly 70%. Literally, 7 out of 10 of these notices are configured to render on every single admin screen you visit, rather than respectfully staying confined to the plugin's own settings page where they belong. It is a massive intrusion on the user experience. So the crucial point is, it actually gets worse. While 75% of these notices can eventually be dismissed, over a quarter of them, 25%, are coded to be impossible to dismiss at all. No way to close them. They just sit there, permanently occupying your screen real estate. It's automation that has gone entirely too far. And in case you are wondering, who is taking home the absolute worst prize? One Instagram feed plugin currently tops the entire leaderboard for the sheer volume of nags it forces onto the user. This new database is just a brilliant step toward holding developers accountable and bringing a little peace and quiet back to our workflows. Section 4. Remembering Om Malik. We're going to shift gears now. We've talked about code, we've talked about AI, but none of that exists without the people. Today, we are taking a moment to remember Om Malik, a legendary tech journalist and the founder of GigaOM, who sadly passed away this week at Stanford Hospital at the age of 59, surrounded by his family and friends, following a long health journey with his heart. While Om's name never shows up in the official WordPress code commit history, his impact is foundational and honestly impossible to overstate. Matt Mullenweg, the co-founder of WordPress, captured his legacy perfectly back in 2014 when he said, "We say all roads lead to Om." And this brilliantly illustrates why Mullenweg said that. Let's look back to 2004. Om was doing an interview with Tony Schneider for an entirely unrelated story. During that chat, Om just happened to mention that he was blogging on this new platform called WordPress. He then offered to introduce Schneider to the project's 20-year-old creator, Matt Mullenweg. That single introduction initiated a massive domino effect. Because of that meeting, Tony Schneider eventually became the founding CEO of Automatic, the company behind WordPress.com. Om was the ultimate connector. To further put his dedication into perspective, just look at this number, 8. Back in 2005, when WordPress held its first ever meetup in San Francisco, Om Malik was one of just 8 people who showed up. He was there from the absolute beginning, believing in the platform and connecting the people who would go on to build the web as we know it today. Whether it's an AI client learning to act in real time, a new database holding plugin developers accountable for their code, or a visionary connector who simply showed up and made introductions, this entire week in WordPress news has really been about the forces quietly shaping the platform from behind the scenes. Which leaves us with a question to consider. As we look toward WordPress 7.1 and beyond, who and what will be the ones to quietly shape the platform next? If you want to be the first to know the answer to that question, you absolutely need to stay connected to this ever-evolving ecosystem. Keep your finger on the pulse of the community and get your regular fix of curated, high-quality WordPress news by visiting wpmore.net today. It's for sure the best way to ensure you never miss a beat. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll see you on the next Explainer.